So I didn't want to give it up. I used to think that red wine was helping me to relax until I realized that it was wrecking my sleep. Yep, I realized it was wrecking my sleep. So now when I think about red wine or I have a glass of red wine, I'm thinking to myself, do I drink this or do I sleep? Do I drink this glass of wine or maybe two or maybe three and then have no sleep, wake up in the middle of the night, have night sweats and just have a pretty bad night and then feel horrible and groggy tomorrow? So this took me a while to realize. I've been in menopause now for about 8 years, no HRT. So I'm having a tough time to manage my hot flashes. Although I must say they're much better now since I figured out that alcohol is just not helping. So today I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why you might want to reconsider that glass of red wine or whatever cocktail it is for you. But maybe it's just red wine. I don't know. You could experiment and see. So I know you may not want to hear this, but red wine can definitely increase your hot flashes. Yep, they can definitely increase your hot flashes. It affects your temperature regulation, affects your blood vessels, and drinking red wine can definitely make your hot flashes worse. So for me, it was almost an immediate reaction. I would start to drink some red wine, and then literally like 5 minutes later, I was breaking out into a sweat. I was having a hot flash. I was sitting there going, what is going on? Why am I having a hot flash right about now? And honestly, it took me a little while to realize that it was the red wine causing my hot flash. Because as I said, I'm not on HRT. I'm trying to manage all my menopause symptoms naturally. So I'm really super hyper focused on trying to recognize what are my triggers. What are the things that trigger hot flashes and night sweats so I can cut them down or eliminate them altogether? So let me know in the comments. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about what your triggers might be? There are a couple of different things that can trigger hot flashes, but alcohol is definitely one of them, and red wine is definitely a major culprit for me. I'm not sure about all the other types of alcohol because I was mainly a red wine drinker, but I know that red wine was definitely a big hot flash trigger. So I'm trying to cut down on my red wine or cut it out or just decide for myself, you know what, if I drink this, I know I'm not going to sleep well tonight. I know I'm going to have a bad day tomorrow, but it's worth it. Sometimes it's just worth it. Sometimes you just want to go out, you want to have a couple drinks and it's just worth it. And you just suck it up and you know you're going to have a bad day tomorrow. Is that you? Can you relate to that? Or is that just me? I don't know. So the second reason why you might want to be reconsidering that alcohol is not just because of hot flashes, but we know that once we're in menopause, we are at higher risk for a lot of illnesses, chronic diseases. So cancers, heart disease, osteoporosis. Yes, as we get older, we are at higher risk for some of these chronic diseases. And guess what, ladies? Alcohol does not help. Alcohol can actually make your risk higher, make you more susceptible to heart disease, some kinds of cancers, especially I think it's breast cancer and colorectal cancer increase if you drink, if you drink more than the recommended amount. And let's face it, it's super hard to just have one drink. Is it just me? Am I the only lush around here? Is it not hard for you to just drink one glass of wine? I mean, okay, I'm learning how to do it now, but I know for a long time, as much as I knew that, okay, Karin, one drink tonight, one drink, that's it. You're only going to have one drink. How many times do you actually do that? I mean, you have one drink, you're feeling nice, and then you're like, oh, I'll just have another one. So you had two, and then you're feeling even nicer, and then maybe you have a third glass, and by that time you really don't give a what. You're just out having fun. So it's really hard to drink in moderation, to drink the recommended amount, which is one drink per day for women, like one small drink, not even a big glass of wine. It's like a pretty small glass of wine. So we got to think about it. We got to think about that alcohol is not doing us any favors. The more I do research on this subject, the more I read and research that alcohol is just one of the worst things that we can do for our health. And we might be able to get away with it in our 20s and our 30s and our 40s. But once you reach your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, Well, alcohol is really probably a no-no. I mean, granted, once you get into 80s and 90s, at that point, you may as well just go drink again. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I'm just sharing my thoughts on the subject and my experience. So I would say rethink that alcohol, rethink your alcohol, rethink your glass of wine. Maybe you can find another alcohol that doesn't exacerbate your hot flashes, but in general, ladies, we should be cutting down on our alcohol. And then the third reason, which actually has nothing to do with menopause, it's just an embarrassing admission that I'm going to make, an embarrassing confession, I should say, that, you know what, when I look back on my life, since I started drinking when I was 17, going to college, I went to Dartmouth, which is a big drinking school. Have you ever seen Animal House? Well, Animal House was made about my school. Yes, it was all about work hard, play hard, and weekends were all about getting X faced. You know what I mean? SHT faced. That's what weekends were about at my school. So we learned how to drink, and I basically just developed a drinking habit from I was in college. And if I'm to be completely honest, which I try and be, some of my most embarrassing moments of my life have been when I was basically drunk. Yeah, I have to just be honest and say the most embarrassing things I've ever done in my entire life have been when I was drunk. I mean, I threw up on my date at a party in college. I think it was a toga party. A guy I really liked. He was really cute. He was really hot. I don't know if he's ever going to watch this, but I'm sorry. I threw up. I threw up on you. I was completely drunk. And I mean, come on. How embarrassing is that to throw up on your date that you actually like? And, you're drunk. You're drunk. I mean, I guess I was like 19, so I can forgive my 19-year-old self for throwing up on my date. But you know what? I gotta say, I've done definitely more embarrassing things in my 20s, 30s, 40s, even in my 50s. I mean, yes, I don't think I've thrown up on anybody else since I was in college. But, sometimes when you've had too many drinks, you say inappropriate things, you're just slightly out of control. You might be slurring your words, you might be kind of just like, a little too relaxed. And I've definitely said them some inappropriate things, some things what I wish I could have taken back when I was drinking. And you know what? You can't take them back. You can't take them back. You said them, they're out there, and you can apologize. But yeah, some of the most embarrassing things that I've said and done have been while I was drinking. So I'm now 60, and I know it's taken me a while to learn to learn this lesson. But as I said, alcohol is not great for those hot flashes, definitely contributes to those sleepless nights, definitely not good for our overall health. And you know what? If you want to spare yourself some major embarrassment because you've had too many to drink, then it's worth cutting down on the alcohol. So I don't know. You can let me know if any of this resonates with you. If I'm the only lush out there that likes my red wine and my other drinks. And, I got to admit, sometimes I just say F it and I still drink and I still go out and I have a good time. And, sometimes I regret it the next day. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? Life is short. I enjoy having a few drinks. I'm going to go out and have a good time. So, I still do that from time to time. But moderation, everything in moderation. So if any of this resonated with you, I'd love it if you would like and subscribe to my channel. It definitely helps. And also grab my free Menopause Self-Care Toolkit that I have quite a few tips and practices in my toolkit that would help you to manage your menopause symptoms, especially if you are not going the HRT route like I am. So grab my Menopause Self-Care Toolkit. I'll link to it below. And also you can watch the next video, which is my nighttime routine, obviously my non-drinking nighttime routine. And you can watch it here. I think it's here. All right. Thanks a lot for listening, and I'll see you again soon.